the DA and the most heralded black lawyer in the city, both them in there ain't got a horse in the race, both of them from Atlanta. As I watch Jason, as I watch Cardell's family sitting in there crying and worried, right? As I'm looking at his son and his little girl that don't even know what's fucking going on, really. I see Jason and his assistant laughing. Right? That's what I'm really watching. And while I'm watching that, I'm seeing the peril that Cardell's family's in. And then I swear to God, you can ask Charlie, he was standing right there with me. While I go outside to smoke a cigarette right quick, Fuller come walking out with his little boo, that this one done been there twice today. Came after work, went changed clothes, came back, and he walking to her car. Past the media. Walk her to her little car. This where his mind at. His second visit of the day from a female while he at work. Biggest case he done had, I know for a fact, in 5 years, 8 years. Do y'all hear me? Let me tell y'all. Remember when I first started this live? I told y'all I was quitting. I ain't gonna lie, I am quitting. You can't even call me and offer me no money or none of that. I mean that with all my heart. See, you know what y'all can't understand about my passion? It's more than passion. I don't know what else to do with myself. You know why? Because my mama spent her whole life doing this. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back out of it now, so my children can go do whatever they wanna do, and I'll protect them. I'm gonna let y'all see what your favorite blogger and your influencer really could do for this community. I'll let y'all see. We ain't had a self-defense, successful self-defense in Orleans Parish for a black man. I can't find a lawyer to cite me a case, to reference me a case. I went and looked for myself, I couldn't find one. Guess where you can find in Louisiana for boys though? Self-defense. They don't get at the black men. There's so much ambiguity in the charge and the 5 possible charges that the jury had to come back in twice and ask questions of what shit meant. But they had a question on who was the aggressor. They wanted to hear the aggressor doctrine like 3 different times, right? I don't understand how we couldn't talk about him being drunk in court at all. I couldn't understand how Raquel could just lie and keep saying she doesn't recall who she was with that night. You're riding in your car, you don't know them? Fuck. You ain't sitting in the front seat with your husband and giving 2 strangers in the back a ride. You sitting in the back with the man wife. He's sitting in the front with your husband. You don't know them? Couldn't talk about his character at all. And that's how they doing us. But the real stunning part is Shavinsky. So listen, this is what most people don't know. So according to court, they've identified where all 7 of Bear bullets was. They took some out the car, took the rest out of the wheel, and then 1 was still in the gun, never fired, right? So I'm like, well, where'd the bullet come from that was in her leg, right? So what Jason kept harping on was the fact that Kevin's gun was never and Will's gun was never. That's what ballistics proved, right? But what we couldn't discuss is the fact that 2 people from their party left, and one of them was a police. What the fuck did the boy leave with? Pierre Thomas. What he left with? He said he ran down the street to the bar to go throw up. I just threw up coming out of court, and I threw up right on their fucking hallway and left it on the floor. Who runs 2 blocks to go throw up? Let's be 100. Why they left? Whatever gun that shot Raquel, they left with it. Why was the bullet that was in Raquel's leg never produced? Why she didn't have to produce that? She just got a bullet out her leg and threw it away? She threw it away? You want me to believe that? And you prosecuting the man who you say you? And I'm going to throw the bullet away? Not gonna do it. There's someone else too. So now, Bell, gonna have a sentencing date, I'm sure. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I mean, I just don't see how he could go forward with this counsel. Fuller ain't worth these fucking G Nikes on my feet. Old designer ass, pimp ass lawyer.
This afternoon, and then the jury will have the case. Hayes is accused of shooting and killing former Saints star Will Smith back in 2016. We will be following this very closely and have all breaking developments for you this afternoon.
This is exclusive video of Thomas after the defense spent this morning trying to find inconsistencies in his story of what happened that night 8 years ago. Hayes had said he Smith in self-defense. Now, Thomas on the stand recounted what he says happened moments before the shooting and what he saw after. He says there was two groups of people arguing. Hayes, Raquel, Will Smith's wife, and Will were on one side, and the friends of the two groups were on the other. He says Raquel convinced Will to walk away. He says they calmly walked back to their car when a fight was about to break out between the other group of guys on the other side. He says that's what he heard. That's when he heard Hayes' gun go off, and Will was dead, slunked over the steering wheel.
After a 5-day retrial, the verdict came in just after midnight on Saturday morning, finding Cardell Hayes guilty of manslaughter in the killing of former Saints player Will Smith.
I will say it's especially heartbreaking in this case, having gotten to know Cardell Hayes, having gotten to know him as a father, to know his family, to see the community that he has that supports him.
Hayes was found guilty of manslaughter back in 2016 after he shot and killed Will Smith during a road rage incident. He was also found guilty of attempted manslaughter after shooting Will Smith's wife, Raquel Smith.